Hey, how have you been, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Stranger Things. Season 3 is officially out on Netflix, and I think it was released yesterday, exactly yesterday, July 4th, being Independence Day, and all that. So I assume there will be some, celebration Easter eggs, or at least lots of celebration Easter eggs, in the series, since it's a Netflix series, so as you know, just released all at once. But Season 3 is officially out, and I think this takes place at least a year later as well, or at least one summer later. Let's say so, yeah, because the kids are meant to be even more grown up now to a certain extent, and we've seen a lot of preview worthy kind of stuff in the trailers and whatnot, and we've seen Dustin is returning from a summer camp that he went to. Mike and Lucas are both in their own relationships with Eleven and Max, respectively. So that's blossoming. We've seen an interesting bit of Will. He seems to still have some kind of chilling connection to the Upside Down and to the Mind Flayer and whatnot. And he doesn't really seem to believe it's gone. At least not completely, but he actually believes that there's a chance that they may have locked him out there with them, in their world. And the Mind Flayer did make a tease at returning with his ominous little voice. He did say, you let us through the first time, so now we're not going away. We are staying right here where we want to stay and all that. So I think the trailers did show us that Billy may well end up being the new host for the Mind Flayer. But there is a new monster coming. There is a new monster coming that looks somewhat like the results of a lab experiment gone horribly wrong. But yeah, so that's happening. I think we are getting a new character in the form of Robin. Someone who's a co-worker of Steve's at the Starcourt Mall, where he now works, and the Starcourt Mall, that's a new addition to Hawkins as well, that's being really, really hyped up for the show as well. So I feel like that's where a lot of the series is going to take place, or at least that's where a lot of the drama is going to take place. But yeah, I think, what else is there? I mean, we've gotten a fair amount from the trailers, in terms of what to expect. The mayor. I think we have a newly elected mayor now, in the show, who is not getting 100% support from the citizens of Hawkins. We did see one shot of people holding up Mayor Klein out and standing in protest against the new mayor, for whatever reason. So I'm guessing that's going to be explored, and I think it could well be something to do with the new Starcourt Mall, because that just seems like a lot of industrialization. So I feel in terms of that, there's going to be a bit of political drama in this as well. But yeah, I think I don't really know what else there is to say about this new season, but I've heard a lot of people have already binge watched it, and they've said that it's great. It's a great step up from season 2, and it's a whole lot darker and more emotional than season 2. And I'm just looking forward to seeing everything the new series has to offer. Billy, not looking forward to him at all, but we don't really have much choice. We're gonna have to see his ugly face anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for season 3. Pre-speculation. So let's go ahead into episode 1 of this season, titled Chapter 1, Susie, Do You Copy? So, let's go. How do I get, KGB vibes from these guys? Are the Russians just experimenting with new tech? What about, are they opening a new door? They're opening a new door! Or they're reopening a door. Are they reopening a door to the Upside Down? Oh shit! They're reopening a door. Should have checked your specs. Whoa! Oh shit! Oh, is it opening gates inside them? Is it opening doorways in their bodies? No, it just fried them. It just fried them. Well, you've got 1 year to do it with one less scientist. So tough luck. Young love, huh?
Nobody wants to know you now. Nobody wants to show you.
Mike, stop.
Oh, he is the perfect boyfriend, isn't he? Yeah. Kissing and singing. That's all you need. That's all you need.
You can never surrender.
You spying on your daughter, really?
3-inch minimum. Leave the door open at 3 inches.
3-inch minimum.
What's wrong?
Oh, he is such a dad. He is such a protective dad.
That was priceless. Did you see
It
his
was.
Yeah, watch it, nerd.
Oh, hey,
face? Isn't
Erica.
it past your bedtime?
Isn't it time you died?
Psycho.
Shit.
Mall rat.
Talk about savagery.
That was mature.
Scoops ahoy. Oh, yeah, this is where Steve works. Hmm.
Hey, Dingus,
Hey,
your
Robin.
children are here.
Oh, come on. How budget does your projector have to? Oh, shit. It's not budget, it's the whole mall just shutting down. Wait, 1 year later. Oh, it's because is it because they're redoing the experiment over in Russia? Is it because they're trying out the door again in Russia? No. We're still in Indiana, still in America. Is that really the Mind Player? Is that really him? And the power's back on. Yep, he's getting major chills.
It's almost 9.
What?
They're sleeping
The
together?
clock's power now last night.
I mean, sleeping. They are sleeping together. Okay. So they are officially confirmed to be together now. Yep. All your toys felt abandoned when you left, Dustin. Now they want revenge. Well, they want you to know that they're never gonna leave you again, or they're never gonna let you go. Toys remember everything you do. So play nice. Yeah, warned you. I warned you, Dustin. You warned you, Lucas. You're gonna want to be careful. Cover those eyes beforehand. Oh, they're getting ready for the new lifeguard. Oh yeah, they're getting ready for Billy, aren't they?
You want to be banned for life, lard ass? Didn't think so.
Just know you can insult the citizens of Hawkins and get away with it if you're a lifeguard.
The new suit, Mrs. Wheeler.
You know, it is that smug son of a bitch, Mike.
Hey.
He's corrupting her, I'm telling you. And I'm just gonna lose
He's
it. I
her
mean, I'm gonna lose
boyfriend,
it,
Hawk.
Joyce.
Just take it down, Hopper. Maybe I can help you find the right words.
Well, she's gonna write a script out for him in just 2 minutes of rehearsals before he actually does it. Is that how this is gonna work?
But I think I've got something even spicier. It's about the missing mustard on my hamburger. You think you can follow the clue? Look out, fella.
Thanos did nothing wrong. In fact, he should have snapped twice. He really should have.
I can talk to my girlfriend whenever and wherever I choose.
You have a girlfriend?
Wait, so her name is Susie?
Susie.
Z, she's from Utah.
Girls
Huh.
go to science camp?
And another one bites the dust.
Indeed it does.
You are 0 for
You're
6,
all
not
you
5.
suck.
Yeah, I can count.
You know that means you suck.
Yep, I can read too.
Since when?
Stupid hat, I am telling you, it is totally blowing my best feature.
Oh, your hair.
Company policy is a real drag.
Well, hey, Robin's hair looks great,
It's a
and the
crazy
hat
idea,
doesn't ruin that.
but have you considered?
Maybe you just kill Mike.
Hey, no
Chief, At
killing,
least I could cover it up.
no criminal activity either.
Promise.
They're lying. It's been like this all summer.
It's romantic.
It's gross. It's bullshit.
It's young love. Oh shit, the rats are blowing up. Just turning to goop. What's that all about?
Freestyle. Butterfly.
No. You're downing the entire thing. You have a girlfriend, dude.
Did you seriously just drink the rest of our water?
So, who do you want to speak to next?
Oh hey, it's Michael from The Good Place. Doris Driscoll. Disease rats.
No, nobody's in trouble, okay? I just,
Hey, no whispering now, come on. This isn't easy for Hop. He's not used to talking about his feelings.
you know what? Your mom called.
Nothing! There's nothing wrong with Nana!
What? You want to see real crazy? You disrespect me again.
You're talking to Hellboy now, Mike.
Nod if you understand.
Understood, you know, copied and reported and all of that stuff. Sir, yes, friggin' sir.
No, girl, is that perfect?
Is that so?
Excuse me, Lucas?
Вот есть.
The silver cat feeds and blue meets yellow in the west. A trip to China sounds nice if you tread lightly. So he's just repeating all of this. What, some kind of code? And Ted's just snoring away. No. He's with their daughter. He's with Baby Wheeler. Whoa! What the fuck was that? Couldn't finish the job, huh? Just had to leave him with a fucking cut on his forehead. Was it one of those rats?
Hey!
I mean, they turned to goop, but maybe they could have mutated.
I said who's there!
Your doom is here, Billy. And it's dragging you down to hell, it seems. Oh shit. That's the end of the episode. End of the first episode. Sorry about this lighting, by the way. Give me 2 seconds, I can fix this horrible lighting. Well, it's temporary, I can fix it. Give me a second. There we go, that's somewhat better, so smoother. But yeah, that is the end of the first episode of season 3. So, I think it's a good way to bring people back. It's a good way to bring everyone back into the show and to show where everyone is now at this current point in time. So, bit of a flashback in terms of, I think, maybe post season 2. We saw that scientists in Russia were attempting to open a new gate. So I feel like with that new gate being open and chills and kind of signals of the Mind Flayer coming through that gate, I feel like that's what could be giving Will the chills. And what that could be what he means by when he says in the trailer, like, you know, maybe we locked him out there with us, so maybe they don't know that a new gate has been opened. But why the scientists are trying to open up a new gate, I don't know. But I think they are the USSR, the Russians, and I think it's common. I think it's common as well when I think it's always usually Russians, like with the exception of in Marvel with Hydra. It's always usually Russians, like who are trying to find a new technology that they can weaponize and build an arsenal from. Like with this, it's the dimensional doorway opener, or whatever they decided to dub it. With Supergirl, it's the Russian Kara, the Russian Supergirl that they're kind of training. Yeah, it's always Russians, But yeah, so the Russians are attempting to open up a new doorway, and I think even in the present day, even 1 year later to now, well, not to now, you get what I mean. They are still opening a new doorway, and it is working somewhat better, I think, than their previous attempt. But the gooping is still happening, but this time with the rats. And I don't know what the connection is between that place in Russia and Hawkins, Indiana. Like, if it's just, I mean, part of me thinks it's safe to say that maybe there is still some scar tissue left over from the Mind Flayer's presence and his overall kind of infection that took over Hawkins back in season 2. You know, like, maybe that's what's connecting it, so maybe the overall kind of energy signature is matching that of the door opening in Russia, and it's connecting and it's bridging the two, which is affecting Will, who's been the one kind of most mentally affected by all of that stuff. But yeah, so I think maybe that could be why that, like, the power surge happened, and you know, like, the rats are there, like, sensing that stuff. Like, I think it's always animals who actually who have like a heightened sense for danger and stuff. Like, if it's like dogs or birds or rats, like, they always, like, you always see them moving in crowds to places. Like, if it's dogs, you see them barking out of nowhere because something's coming. Birds, you always see them flocking to somewhere like further away from the danger and somewhere safer, and that's a signal. And sometimes with rats as well, like, you know, usually it's they're running in that kind of formation. They're running in a crowd away from the danger. But yeah, I think with this one, the rats themselves were, I think, running closer to the danger somehow, and just gooping and just blowing up and gooping upon contact with the danger. So yeah, I think the rats are going to be showing up, maybe, well, the surviving ones, if there are any, are going to be showing up in future episodes. But yeah, scientists are opening a new gate over in Russia, so that is going to be a dilemma that the team's going to have to deal with. So yeah, what else? So Young Love with, well, predominantly with Mike and Elle, predominantly with them, but also with Lucas and Max. But with Mike and Elle, I think it's just the constant kind of making out that's getting on Hopper's nerves. I swear to God, Hopper was such a dad. Hopper was such a dad in this episode, and you know, in the way that I think it's nice to see him in this kind of ironic light, because I think his own daughter, who died of cancer, I think it was back like we saw in season 1. I think she never really reached that age where he had to worry about boyfriends or like any of that boy trouble. Like she never reached the age. I don't think she ever reached the age that Jane is now. So he never, instead of worrying about boys and all of that kind of young love stuff, he was worrying about her life literally being on the line and, you know, having to grieve her death. So now with Jane, he has a second chance, and I think it's a lot of it is that he doesn't want to fuck it up, and he actually wants to be the dad that he never got to be with his with his late daughter. And so now I think part of that, I think with this now there is a more comedic tone to it, with him having to deal with the boy trouble in the form of Mike. But I would have thought that he wouldn't really have much of an issue with Mike, because they have all been through a lot together as kids and adults. You know, like they've all faced near enough the same shit together. And Mike's been there to help out with a lot of it. So I would have thought that he wouldn't have a problem with Mike, but maybe I was wrong. But yes, I think it is mainly the constant making out and the time he spends over there that Hopper actually holds a problem with. So yeah, but I think that was a great kind of way to address Hopper's kind of approach to this kind of situation, like him just not knowing what to say, like him just saying, you know what, maybe I'll just kill Mike. And then, you know, me being a chief police officer, I'll just cover it up like an accident, make it look like nothing happened. You know, as opposed to actually, you know, doing what Joyce said and actually taking the time to talk out their feelings and, you know, establish boundaries, create an environment to talk and whatnot. Nah, just just kill him and cover it up. But I think it's been long since established that the predominant parents in this show are Joyce and Hopper. They are the parents. Like, he did have a daughter before she sadly passed away, and Joyce has always, she's always been on that kind of on the front of motherhood with protecting Will and Jonathan, and even treating the other kids like they're her own, like especially Elle back in season 1, and even in season 2 when they all reunited with Elle again as well. And I think it's that common. I think it's a common kind of. I don't know whether to call it a concept or a stereotype, but it is a common way to like kind of portray it, in the sense that the mother is the one who's always more emotional and more sensitive and more open-minded, and the one willing to sit down and talk about your feelings and all that, whereas the father is always colder and more distant and doesn't really know how to talk about love, or doesn't really know how to talk about that kind of stuff. It's common for things to be that way. Sometimes they have switched things over, and the dad. Sometimes it's either the dad actually does know how to talk openly, or just he at least tries, even if he fucks it up. But with this one, it's just Hopper resorting immediately to, like, what? No, I'm just going to kill this kid, and just that would be the end of it. But Joyce just being like, no, you're not killing anyone. Just take the time to talk it through with him and her, and just flesh things out a little bit. So yeah, and Joyce and Hopper as well. I think it's a very, very understandable and like an appreciable, if that's a word, thing to know that Joyce isn't exactly ready for love anytime soon. Like, even just doing something as simple as having dinner in front of the telly is enough for her to kind of remember all the fun times her and Bob used to have, and just still grieving in front of that. It's been a year, but for her, a year may be not enough for her to actually be able to move on from that stuff properly. So she may need more time, and I think you can see with Hopper, he definitely does have some feelings for her, but I think out of respect, he is kind of open with his kind of dinner date requests and whatnot. But I think part of him does still. I think there are two parts of him that one of which actually just wants to be with her, and then another part that knows what she's been through, the fact that she needs time, and that when she's ready, she will come forward and actually tell him, like, what, I'd actually be willing to go on a date now. I think I'm ready for that stuff. So I think I'm getting the sense that those two sides might be at conflict at some point, but I think for now, for the most part, they are kind of fairly balanced, and he does know how to kind of, understand and read the situation in that sense. So Mike and Elle are having some young love, and Joyce and Hopper are having some adult love, in far less physical ways. So Nancy is working at the Hawkins Post, the newspaper, and I assume it's because of her and Jonathan's already gotten a job there. He's working. I assume he's working as a photographer, but he was working in the red room, like sorting out the pictures and whatnot. So I think they are both working. And I am assuming that they got their jobs there as a result of the information about Hawkins Lab that they leaked in the last season, that got the Hawkins Lab actually shut down with the help of Murray, the what's the word again? Conspiracy theorist. With Murray, the conspiracy theorist. But Jonathan is having a far easier time at the Hawkins Post than Nancy is. Jonathan already has a job, and he's already kind of been accepted under their wings and whatnot. But Nancy is kind of doing food and coffee runs, and working a less than journalistic. Is that even a word? Am I just making things up as I go along? Yeah, but still, fuck it. She's working a far less journalistic kind of role under the Hawkins Post. She's picking up their sandwiches for them, and picking up their coffee, and just having any ideas that she might have for a possible story to pitch or to write, just shot down with requests for fucking mustard in their sandwiches. So yeah, I think and this is in the 80s, so I do definitely kind of think that this is again just during the height of sexism in the workplace and whatnot. And I think something like that, like you're writing for a newspaper, I think that is especially one kind of field that women would have had a difficult time actually getting a writing job in. I think there was a receptionist there that let Nancy in, but I think we didn't see any women kind of writers. So I do hope that is something I want to see. I want to see Nancy proving to them that she is more than just a food and coffee fetcher. She is a talented young woman with her own brain that she can use to think, and a woman capable of writing great stories for the Hawkins Post, more than about the Hawkins lab, and that she is very well capable of actually doing her own stories and doing her own things at the Hawkins Post. I want to see that development for Nancy. I want to see her showing those guys where the mustard is so they can get up off their lazy asses and get it themselves, and then her at the typewriter or computer or whatever just typing up her own story and actually publishing that shit and being recognized for the talent that she is. I want to see that. I want to see it. If Jonathan can have a respectable job there, so can she. But yeah, so that is their one. But she did get a new lead at the end, I think. A woman did call in when she was doing cleanup, and I think Doris something about rats and a disease. So I think maybe someone's seen the rats just scuttling through the field or scuttling through the outside, so something to do with rats. But she's got a potential lead and maybe even a potential story, so this could be her first story to actually maybe pitch, and then probably just, if she has to, then just write behind those lazy fucks' backs. So yeah, but I do want to see her growing, and I want to see her showing those guys that she is just as capable as them, if not more. So yeah, but that's Nancy and Jonathan. Dustin has a girlfriend who doesn't seem to be responding to any of his radio summons, but the one thing Dustin does manage to summon is the Russians, and the Russians he caught on. The Russian he caught on to had something to say about cats, yellow banana. No, not yellow bananas. Cats. What was it again? Can't remember what it was. So, cat. No. The silver cat. When blue meets yellow in the west. The trip to China sounds nice if you. Yeah, okay, so it's basically just a bunch of code that the Russians have written, and probably just one Russian in Russia conversing with another Russian somewhere else, or maybe someone else who speaks Russian. But yeah, just outlining secret messages in their little code. So assuming Dustin can either remember all of that or somehow record all of his radio transmissions, he's going to have an interesting kind of decryption time on his hands. But yeah, he apparently does have a new girlfriend called Susie, who's who's a genius and also somehow prettier than someone who I'm just assuming is pretty based on the boys' reactions to it. But I mean, I want to believe that she exists. I want to, for Dustin's sake and for the sake of his happiness, I want to believe that she exists. But if we're ever going to whether or not we're ever going to hear from her, I do not know. It seems like any chance might have been minimized by the Russians, just unintentionally allowing their transmission to fall under Dustin's radio path. But they've built their own radio tower, so that's pretty cool. And Cerebro, really? I mean, they have pop culture in this universe, like with D&D and I think Star Wars as well. I think I saw a Back to the Future poster when they were actually walking to the cinema, but they went to see Day of the Dead or something. I don't know. I've never seen that movie in my life. But yeah, Cerebro. I mean, I immediately thought of the mental thing that Professor X uses in the X-Men to connect to all living beings on Earth, mutant and human alike. But I don't know if this is just to do with the distance it can cover. It probably is, because Cerebro can cover a lot of distance as well. It can cover the globe. But yes, they built their own radio tower known as Cerebro. So I feel like that, in terms of the oncoming drama of the show, I feel like that's going to come in very, very handy. But yeah, so Dustin does have a girlfriend. Well, we can only hope. Called Susie. So that's that. And Steve is working at Scoops Ahoy selling ice cream. And the true story? What was it? So he couldn't even get into a tech university or college, and that's what people call university in America. So now his dad made him work a minimum wage job to teach him a lesson. So yeah. Well, I mean, he never really was. I mean, you could tell from watching season 1 that he never really was one who focused too much on school. He focused more on Nancy and kind of, kept telling her that she was good enough for like all of her exams and everything, and that she didn't have to study any more than she already did, whilst also just not bothering to study himself. But I think I would have figured that he would have gotten into something on like a sports scholarship or something maybe. But I mean, he did get his ass handed to him in basketball by Billy. But regardless, I would have thought that maybe sports was more his thing. But yeah, apparently not. Apparently that none of that was his thing. So he is stuck working at Scoops Ahoy with the lovely Robin. So yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of Robin yet, except that she has great hair. And she already has a sass to her that I am loving, just keeping like a tally of how many times he sucks and how many times he doesn't suck. He sucks a lot more than he doesn't suck. But yeah, I'm already loving there is definitely an intentional mystery to Robin that I'm already loving, and again that kind of sass that I'm really looking forward to, and I feel like her and Steve have they have a working friendship that I'm looking forward to seeing more of, not to develop into something more. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get kind of not so straight vibes from Robin just from the stills, just from the promotional pictures alone. I get some not so straight vibes from Robin. So yeah. I mean, if that is the way they're headed, then great. But I don't want them to change it just for the sake of keeping it straight, or just for the sake of giving Steve a girlfriend. But yeah, I mean, again, it seems like they have a great working kind of co-worker friendship going on, so it'd be interesting to see more of that. And we haven't even seen Dustin and Steve reunite yet. You would have thought that after the last season, I mean, sure, Mike and the others are his childhood friends and whatnot, but I mean, you would have thought we would have at least gotten like a little clip of the ending of Dustin trying to go to going to Scoops Ahoy to see Steve, but hey, maybe in the next episode we're gonna get it at some point, so that's all that really matters. But yeah, looking forward to more of Steve and a lot more of Robin, and just all of the kids and everything. I think this is a nice kind of peaceful way to start off the series. I think it's showing us more of what the kids are like now and what Joyce and Hopper are like now than of the drama. So I think it's just giving us time to actually prepare ourselves, with little teasers of what the incoming drama is. It's you've got all this nice young love, happy go fun time stuff, but just remember, out there on the horizon is some more upside down / mind flayer shit that's ready to knock your doors down and just invade your home. So enjoy this stuff while it lasts, but this drama is coming in, so prepare yourself. I feel like that was the vibe they were going for with this opening episode. So definitely loving that vibe. Definitely loving the whole kind of passive kind of intro to the new season. But yeah, I think what else is there? think oh yeah, Billy and Miss Wheeler. Luckily that didn't happen. Luckily that meetup did not happen. Billy was the one. I mean, Billy was closer than she was. Hearing that out loud is just so wrong. Hearing that out loud, I just regret saying anything at all. But I mean, in terms of actually going on this date, Billy was closer than she was. He was actually in the car getting ready to just pretend flirting with her in the mirror and just getting ready to reach her house. But he was sidetracked by some evil rats, presumably. So thank you to the rats. But I think, it was always an issue of mine with Billy and Karen getting together, because for one thing, she can do much better than him, and for another thing, she's already married to Ted, and it has been, we have been shown that this is not a happy marriage. He is barely attentive to her, and you can understand why she's unhappy and would want someone younger or more attentive in any way. Literally the first time we saw Billy meeting Karen, he was flirting with her, calling her Nancy's younger sister and everything. But if anything, I think her kind of seeing the ring was the first sign to her that maybe she shouldn't do this. But she was like, no, fuck it, I deserve a night to myself to be with someone who likes me and who is attentive to me. And then she saw Ted with their daughter asleep on the couch. And she remembered that, she is, no matter what happens, she is still a married woman with a family, with a husband and a daughter and a son. So, she still has all of that, chances are she'd be betraying, just for even one night with Billy. So, and I think that was the most, logical way to put it as well. With Billy, he doesn't care that she's married. He knows she's married. For him, it probably makes it more adventurous. He's willing to risk it, and he's willing to make her cheat on her husband with him. And it's been shown that he doesn't really give a shit about other people. He just cares about himself. But I think with Karen, you'd actually expect her to think about it a lot more and think about what she's actually leaving behind or risking, or what she's kind of betraying by going down this path, and what she's kind of forgetting about or trying to push away. And her as the adult as well as the married woman. She is kind of she would need to be more attentive of all that, and and again, it just proves it's not a sexism thing. It's not the fact that the woman should be more careful than the man, but with Billy, he is you would not expect him to think twice about this because of the character that he is. He is arrogant. He is evil. He is manipulative. He again I mean, had she not been married, then he probably wouldn't look twice. But for him, making her having her cheat on her husband with him is probably one of the most exciting things about this whole ordeal. So he's going as far as to encourage her and to actually be as flirtatious and as teasy as possible. But with her, it's you would expect her to actually think twice and actually given who she is and the situation she is and the role she has to play in society. Being married with kids, having a family and having that kind of having sworn that kind of loyalty to Ted as well, you would expect her to actually have kind of second guesses about this kind of thing, which she did. So it was an accurate representation of how something like that might go. But yeah, the affair did not go through. They did not meet up at any motel. They did not sleep together. They did not go swimming. But Billy did get dragged down some stairs by something, maybe by a mutated rat monster, maybe by something else entirely, but he did get dragged down by something. So we'll see where he's at in the next episode, hopefully near death. But yeah, that was that one. What else? Is there anything else? I don't think so. I'm not missing anything, am I? I don't believe that I am. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have for this one. It's a great opener and a great starter to the season. Definitely looking forward to seeing where where everything goes from here, because again, we haven't had any drama yet, just little teasers here and there. So I think by the next episode, or at least by episode 3, things should be kicking up a notch. So yeah, but yeah, that was Stranger Things season 3, episode 1, chapter 1. Susie, do you copy? She unfortunately does not. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up in this season. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.